everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. This is Vdiffuser. In our last episode, we got some crucial evidence for our trial, which we will start right now. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. There's Edgeworth again. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Prosecution will show the court that 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It's impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. You say that. The evidence presented during the trial will all point during this fact. I see. Very well. I'd like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. There he is. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employees-only area. Actors that'll run through their action scenes there in the morning yet. This is the main gate of the studio. The security lady that works at the studio was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that area, the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. There's a scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. To jump ahead to that day, 5 p.m., the production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. The rehearsal was canceled, needless to say. God, in HD, that actually looks creepier. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear was lodged into the victim's chest, and was the murder weapon. Was it really? In that case, that's a case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Nah. So the murder weapon was the spear. How medieval. Yeah, it's taped. Oh boy. Your Honor, the case is quite simple. If you ask one question, and that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? Oh, dear God. My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. This is going to be a recurring gag. Oh, did it? No need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Hard pass. Your name, please. Oh, seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Windy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma. Expect me on the name. When I was young, I was really just Oldbag. But there was this boy that kept on the chest club in junior high. He called me Oldbag, and I cried. Just died. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Oh, that's priceless. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. Oh, she was born a rambling old trying to make a living and doing the best she can. I've dated myself. I'm just getting to the good part, dearie. Actually, I haven't dated myself. That song's a lot older than I am. Perhaps we can get on to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, there was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, did he? You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. Witness's account. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through since the morning. Alright, well, I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. It was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked by at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. Oh, really? You saw the defendant, then? Huh. Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yep, Your Honor. We already know which one we have to press. Yeah. All that. What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. We don't know. That's why we asked. Actually, I was watching for Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper! I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always! Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see Steel Samurai run through too. Trust me, you don't want to see the Steel Samurai being ran through. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Okay, there's that. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? No! He'd already gone back to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Tell us what happened next. I was at the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching there the whole time, no breaks, not even a second. Of course! I'm a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job? Whippersnapper! No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch a game and eat donuts at the same time. What? Snipper Whapper! Snipper Whapper? Old Windbag's losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? After 2:30 p.m. How'd you know that? Oh, I have my ways. That overdressed young detective told me. Fed him some donuts and he talked and he talked. Guess me, that detective isn't cut out for his job. That is insulting! When even Oldbag thinks he's not that good of a detective. Ouch! And Edgeworth knows it. Poor Detective Gumshoe getting ratted out by a security guard. Interesting to me, because a certain young man walked by at 2 p.m. You're sure? Sure spit! Well, who was the man? Really? You should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. You're not one to talk. No, don't get your skivvies in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. Oh, really? So you saw Mr. Powers, huh? Objection! Let me get this straight, Oldbag. Miss Oldbag. You've been saying since yesterday you saw Mr. Powers, correct? Well, you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers you saw? Of course. Did your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. Sorry, Edgeworth. Too late. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. Hey! I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. Although I sure act like I do. I sure act like I was. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. He's having trouble calling your Oldbag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Huh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How's I supposed to know everyone be so nosy? You should be ashamed of all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag's left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. Alrighty. The man in the photo. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. So, someone else could have seen it and was just dragging his leg to frame him. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he'd sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Careful how you say that. Alright. Trip and fall? Yes, and I think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh! So Powers sprained his ankle. Helped to make it better for him, of course. You helped me. I kissed you very hard. Let's skip over that part, shall we? Yeah, Judge, let's do that. Where's the assistant, then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. Let's see. One of the props broke. He broke a prop. Sure did. His own samurai spear. The murder weapon? Lucky I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. Better write this down. He sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was it badly sprained? Not so bad he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that bothers me. Which is, Where is this Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. It sure is. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it's clear the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I don't think so. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Object! Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. A knot in his hair. Also wonder if someone else could not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider the possibility also. Ooh. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. Alright, third bit of testimony. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen him. Oh, really? You can press all you want, and nothing else will be added. So we're going to have to get some evidence here. And that is on the third statement. Let's see. 1, 3. Hey. Nobody else went there, huh? I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, everyone was there, blah, blah, blah. One, 2, 3. Photo number 2. This should do it. Okay, when the music stops, that means we got it. Hold on! Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken at this camera at the studio gate, correct? Yes, there is, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true when the computer in the guard station records all the camera data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. A very computer printed out this photo. Note on the back, it says photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says, photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it was really the only photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows not 1 but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there's only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? I wonder. Only someone with access, the security lady herself. Hey, you watch your mouth, whippersnapper! The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, that seems to mean, can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Huh, some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Oldbag? That's right! I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate other than the Steel Samurai. Oh, well, yeah, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any suspicious photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, time for the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. The other person. Oh, boy. So, who was it? Press this one. Well, who was it? Huh. A fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second! Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. Yeah. The grate's been loose for a while. It leads outside, and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? Told you they were freaks. Oh, and? They're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So on the photo that you erased, who's the boy? Probably second or third grade. What? Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw two people pass by the gate on the way to the studio that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about second or third grade. Oh yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? And the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they already are trying to unsuspect him. Court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Alright, here we go. Mr. Powers? Yes, tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. Of course people would want to steal a costume. Where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick, what are we gonna do? We gotta play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. And the only person we know who might possibly have done this is Wendy. If we pick the wrong person, we lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, really. It's time. What does that mean? Don't sigh like that. We know what we have to do. Alright, prosecution's thoughts. Nothing has changed. The other person who went by was a boy of 10 years. The photo we have may not be hard evidence. But there's still no one else that could have committed this. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Interesting. Let's hear it. The court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. You will be penalized if they are obviously innocent. It'll take about a fifth of our... Security lady time! It was a security lady! Wendy Oldbag! Who? The steel samurai is dragging his leg in the picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's injury. Maybe because they'd been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper! Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you! Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself, in other words. She has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes #2, baby. Trust me, you don't want to be associated with Sherlock Holmes. He's much more of a ditz than you would expect. Huh? That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it. Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something. What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to make this the whole way. Press further or give Granny a break? The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive, too. Yeah, indeed. That did it. Now Windbag's one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went through the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased. He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds. Tops! Yeesh. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? He's not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is it, be nice to the kids and mean to your elders day? Whippersnapper! I've proof. Proof? Indeed. Let's see this proof. The proof is the card key. The scene of the murder, as we all know, is Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Mrs. What was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this Oldbag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Well, wait a second! I'm not gonna just hit you while you run up barking up the wrong tree. Me! I'm talking! Oh great, stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what's all this about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studio that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get off scot-free. Oh boy. Miss Oldbag! This is crucial information. Why'd you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap and I was do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the Oldbag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Alright, we know what we need to press. Objection. Or hold it. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through for their action scene without a director? Of course. Well, I was surprised no one asked me about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? Yes, there's a Studio 2. Well, if you look at a guide map, here it is. You go through the gate all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think we need to continue. Or no, we need to take a break. We've learned that there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. Court acknowledges the defense point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we've just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings of the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Aw, really, it's nothing. Or should I... We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for that cross-examination. Have you figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been the old windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just trying to buy time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old windbag. Feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Back to visit you. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Alrighty. First day of the case down. Next day up, we are going to do more investigation. So I will see you guys next time.